A major drama marked the MotoGP 2025 stage after the Spanish Grand Prix at the Jerez circuit. One name stole the world's attention: Marc Marquez. Not only because he scored his first victory in the premier class in his home country, but also because the result put him at the top of the MotoGP standings, ahead of his older brother Marc and the main star of the Ducati factory team, Francesco Bagnaia. Is it time for Alex to replace Pecco on the factory Ducati? Let's discuss it. At the Jerez circuit, Francesco Bagnaia was able to secure the third podium and bring home important points for Ducati. But behind the results there was a bitter reality. The performance of the two-time world champion was becoming increasingly worrying. Instead of being a dominant figure as in previous seasons, Pecco was once again showing a downward trend that raised questions. He was even prepared to be overtaken by Fabio Quartararo, a Yamaha rider on a YZR M1 that was technically less competitive. Even more ironically, Bagnaia failed to take advantage of the crucial moment when Marc Marquez crashed while leading the race. Ducati course general manager Gigi Dall'Igna could not hide his disappointment. He openly criticized his protégé's performance, which he felt was far from world champion standards. He did not show the sharpness we expected, especially in terms of race speed. Consistency is important, but we need more than that. We need peak performance, said Dall'Igna seriously. The statistics are undeniable. After 5 rounds, Pecco is 20 points behind Marc Marquez, a figure who was previously seen as the shadow of his older brother. Now Alex has emerged as a serious challenger and has become the symbol of Gresini Ducati's revival. If this season is a test of mental toughness, then Pecco is clearly wavering, shaken by internal pressure and the shadow of high expectations. Marc Marquez's brilliant victory at Jerez was in the spotlight not only because he achieved the highest podium finish of his career, but also because of the impact it had on Ducati as a manufacturer. The victory means that Ducati now equal Honda's legendary record of 22 consecutive victories, a monumental achievement that confirms their dominance in the modern MotoGP era. Ducati course general manager Gigi Dall'Igna did not hesitate to praise Marc Marquez. According to him, Alex has been a pioneer in a long journey that he described as a dream that continues. Alex's victory is the result of intelligence, speed and agility, said Dall'Igna. He is leading the World Championship not by luck alone, but because of extraordinary dedication, relentless hard work and consistent performance since the beginning of the season. On the other hand, despite another crash, Marc Marquez has shown an extraordinary fighting spirit that has amazed many. With a damaged bike, he chose to continue the race and eventually finished 12th, proving that his championship mentality has not faded. Marc is still exceptional. But we also know that our rivals are stronger and more competitive now. We have to keep working hard to stay ahead, added Dall'Igna. Marc Marquez and Francesco Bagnaia's contracts with the Ducati factory are valid until the end of the 2026 season. However, as is often the case in MotoGP, one bad season can drastically change everything. With competition fierce and pressure coming from all directions, performance can be the deciding factor, and Marc Marquez seems to be stealing the show. If the younger brother of the 8-time world champion continues to dominate with Gresini, his chances of being promoted to the Ducati factory team for the 2027 season are wide open. Senior journalist Susie Perry of TNT Sports also echoed the voices that are starting to echo in the paddock. At this point, because the paddock is so brutal, maybe people are starting to say, Alex should be in the factory team with his brother Marc. The statement drew an immediate response from MotoGP analyst and former rider Michael Laverty, who highlighted the psychological pressure that Pecco Bagnaia could be feeling. Pecco can accept it if Marc beats him. He is an 8-time world champion. But if Alex comes along and beats him too, it would be even more painful. At the moment, Pecco Bagnaia's position in the Ducati factory team is still relatively secure, at least on paper. The reality is not so simple. There is pressure after pressure, especially from the Marquez brothers, who are showing their teeth more and more. Marc seems to be dominating, while Marc Marquez surprisingly seems to be very consistent, calm and deadly in every series. Without saying much, Alex answers with his performance on track, and Ducati must have noticed. This situation puts the Ducati management in a difficult position. If this trend continues until the 2026 season, it is not impossible that they will finally decide to keep the Marquez brothers and make a bitter decision: kick out Bagnaia. Especially if Pecco never returns to his peak performance, the performance that once made him worthy of holding the World Championship title for 2 consecutive seasons, 2022 and 2023. Now the cracks are beginning to show. His championship mentality, once as strong as steel, now seems to be faltering. He looks lost, losing his confidence. The pressure is coming from all directions, from his own garage, from his increasingly fierce rivals, and especially from the two Marquezes, who seem to be merciless, as if they want it all. The hot smell of the Jerez asphalt is still in the air as one name steals the spotlight once again, Marc Marquez. This time, however, it is not because of his victory or a spectacular save. Instead, the maestro had to face a bitter reality. He crashed on lap 3 of the Spanish MotoGP in an incident that captured the world's attention. Behind the costly crash, however, was a voice from the highest levels of Ducati. CEO Claudio Domenicali spoke up, and his explanation was not just technical, but a reflection of the psychology of a champion. "Marc is incredible, he rides very well," Domenicali told GP1, "but every now and then he makes small mistakes because he is too confident." A statement that surprised and confirmed Marc's own analysis. Yes, Marquez admitted that his fall in the left corner, his first accident of the season, was caused by one thing: overconfidence. "I was confident and said, okay, I'm going to stay on the track. But it was impossible," said Marquez after the race. This incident was not just a statistic on the score sheet. For Marquez, it was an emotional wound. For Ducati, it was a lesson. And for the spectators, it was a reminder that even kings can be derailed by overconfidence. Marquez had to settle for 12th place after returning to the track with a damaged rear end. Ironically, the result left him 1 point behind his younger brother Alex Marquez, who now leads the provisional standings. The MotoGP world watched as two brothers with contrasting fortunes battled it out at the top, one rising, one falling. Meanwhile, Alex's win at Jerez was Ducati's 22nd consecutive victory, a record that matches Honda's legendary dominance in the past. In the next series at Le Mans, Ducati is on the brink of history. A 23rd victory would break the record and confirm the red dominance in the modern era. However, not everything went smoothly at Ducati headquarters. Pecco Bagnaia, the defending champion, was in fact caught up in a less than optimal performance. Despite finishing on the podium in Jerez, he is now 20 points behind Alex Marquez. And Domenicali made no bones about it. Unfortunately, the bike did not give him the feeling to overtake like last year. "They are working to solve the situation," said the CEO. MotoGP 2025 is not yet halfway through the season, but the excitement is already building. Behind the statistics and trophies there is real emotion, pressure and mental warfare. And Jerez is just one chapter in a long, fascinating story that will rage until the final checkered flag. As the atmosphere heats up and tensions rise within the Ducati camp, the big question now hangs in the air. Is this the beginning of a power shift within the red team? Alex Marquez has slowly transformed from a shadow of his older brother to a real threat to the status quo. Meanwhile, Pecco Bagnaia, once hailed as Ducati's heir apparent, is struggling to maintain his throne amidst a storm of performance and mental pressure that has not abated. The drama at Jerez is not just about who wins or who crashes, but who is ready to survive the brutal and stressful psychological warfare of the season. If Ducati had to choose for their brighter future, would they choose the new blood that burns with an unstoppable fighting spirit, or would they choose to defend the symbol of glory that is starting to crack and become fragile? Write your opinion.